Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Carol here at Aakash Journals, and as I'm always saying, a very big warm welcome from me. I've got guest check number 36 in front of me, which means I'm going to be doing prompt number 36 in the 50 stack challenge, and the prompt for this one is window envelope. So I've got one here. There's my guest check, reinforced as usual. And I have a piece of black card here which has been cut to the size of my guest check, and I have a piece of embossed vellum here which I've done quickly off camera, and that is cut to the size of my guest check and the black card. I need to cut this to the same size as my guest check, so I'm just going to do that. I've cut the front portion of my envelope so that it fits on my guest check, and I'm also going to be doing the same with this piece. So I'm just going to very quickly draw around this and then cut it out. And the reason I don't just measure and cut is, I think as I've mentioned before, my guest checks aren't actually square or a true rectangle. So I'm just going to quickly cut this out. And I'm just going to put a little tiny cross at the top there in pencil so that I know that that is the top of my or where I want this to go on my guest check. Now I may well be having that on the front of the guest check, but equally I might actually have it on the back. I don't know as yet. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully, sorry I've got glue everywhere from an earlier project this morning, very carefully take off this little cellophane or perspex off my envelope. Before I do anything else here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of vellum and my black cardstock, and I'm just going to run a line of stitching all the way around to secure these two pieces together. So there we go, a couple of lines of messy stitching, and my vellum's attached to my black cardstock. So I'm just going to pin those together or paperclip those together like that. And now I'm going to put my window on the top and clip this in place. Now I'm going to cut round this with a sharp knife and go through this background and also my guest check. So I've used my envelope window as a template to cut out an aperture on my guest check and also on this piece. But I think I'm supposed to use the window envelope rather than just use it as a template. So I'm going to just glue it onto my guest check like that so that I'm not cheating. So I'm just going to do that now. There we go, that's all nicely secured in place, and this will go on the top like that, and this is going to go at the back of my guest check, but I'm just going to have it so that it is glued along the top on the back so that I can actually lift it up like that so that you can see the aperture or you've got a background. I've just cut myself two pieces of very, very thin acetate, and it's a lot smaller than the size of my guest check, but if I hold it up like that you can see that it is slightly bigger than the aperture. So I'm going to glue this piece on here and this second piece on what is now my covered guest check, and I'm going to glue that on top of that like that. There we go, so I've got my two pieces like that, and that goes that way. so I could create a nice little sandwich there with my pieces of acetate. So I've got a couple of images here that I'm going to fussy cut. So I've finished fussy cutting out my image of the Grinch, and that black and white image that you saw earlier, I just backed it onto the offcut bit of black card from this. And these are the other two pieces that are left over, so I need to use these to create a tag or something. What I thought I would do would be to just put some glue across the back of my guest check up here and glue this backing piece in place like that. So when I flip over my guest check, you can see that it is the back of the envelope. So that's my guest check. Then I thought I would just sandwich my Grinch figure in there behind this. So that's why I didn't cut my acetate completely to the size of my guest check. I wanted to leave a good border around the outside that would grab the glue really well. I will glue over the acetate just slightly, not too close to the window here, but slightly. The glue will stick to that, but it will stick to the cardboard better, as we know. Oh, and I've got my Sharpie on my desk here because when I cut out my Grinch, obviously I had a white edge there from the original image, so I just went round the outside edge with my Sharpie. So my Grinch figure is going to go in there like that. And I've also got here some tiny sequins. Now I'm not going to make this a shaker card and dimensionalize here so that my glitter or my sequins can move. I think these are fine enough. They probably will move anyway, but I'm not too bothered if they don't. I'm just going to put the glue on here, and as I say, a little bit on the acetate. And I'm not going to glue down my Grinch image. I'm thinking, or I'm hoping rather, that when he is sandwiched between these two pieces of card, that he'll be trapped enough to hold him securely where I want him to be. So that's all ready to be put on here. And I'm just going to position him where I want him to be, which is like that. I'm going to get my sequins and just put a few along the bottom. Famous last words there. Push those up. I'm hoping this is going to work. Just encourage it to glue. Probably got too many sequins in there really, but never mind. And there we go. So here we go, everybody. This is my finished altered guest check. I did open this up and take out some of the sequins because it just felt that there were way too many, and I've just turned my Grinch figure round and I've gone round the outside with some distress ink, and this is hickory smoke, so I just went round the outside on the front and also on the reverse. So I'm just going to mark this up that it was number 36 and the prompt was envelope window. There we go. And as you can see, I can lift that away and have a complete aperture, or I can leave the back of the envelope in place and have a slightly grey background. The sequins that I put in here are a mixture of silver, black and coppery tone, so I thought that was quite nice, and it all kind of blended in with the snow embossed vellum on the outside. So that's my finished piece for this one. A very tipsy Grinch there, slightly wonky, which is how I wanted him to be, and a nice easy prompt this time round. So I hope you like him, and I look forward to seeing you next week, everybody, for the next two prompts that Amy's going to set for us. Until then, take care. Bye bye now.